Abomination. I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. We need to talk about what's happening on the recruiting trail right now. Because for the first time in a while, Alabama just took a couple hits. And the real question is, should we be worried? Because in the span of a short time, Alabama lost 2 defensive commits. One of them, a highly productive edge rusher who was absolutely dominant at the high school level, put up over 100 tackles, 30-plus tackles for loss, and 20-plus sacks in a single season. Those aren't normal numbers. That's game-wrecking production. And now, he's back on the market. On top of that, another defensive back from the 2027 class also decided to walk away, which dropped Alabama's class ranking and opened the door for other SEC programs to start circling. And let's be real for a second. Anytime Alabama loses commits, people start talking, they start questioning, they start wondering if something bigger is going on behind the scenes. But as a Bama fan, you gotta look deeper than just the headlines. Because this is where things get interesting. Yes, losing players hurts, especially when they're talented, especially when they're in state, and especially when they've already bought into the program at one point. But this is also the reality of modern college football. NIL, transfer portal, constant recruiting battles. Nothing is locked in anymore. And the real elite programs, they don't panic. They reload, they reevaluate, they go right back into the fight, and that's exactly what Alabama has always done. Because here's the truth most people won't say. Not every decommitment is a loss. Sometimes it's about fit. Sometimes it's about development timelines. Sometimes it's about the staff making adjustments behind the scenes. And if you've been paying attention to how Kalen DeBoer and this staff are building this program, focusing on culture, long-term development, and getting the right players, then you know this isn't random. This is part of the process. Still, we can't ignore it. Losing 2 defensive commits raises real questions about depth, about recruiting momentum, and about how Alabama plans to respond, especially in a class that's still being built. So in today's video, we're going to break everything down. What really happened with these decommitments? Why one of these losses could be bigger than people think? How this impacts Alabama's 2027 recruiting class? And most importantly, how the Crimson Tide is going to respond. But before we get into all of that, I gotta ask you something, Bama Nation. If you are a real Alabama Crimson Tide fan, I'm talking about the ones who ride with this program no matter what. Go ahead and hit that like button right now and subscribe to Only Real Fans Should Be Here. Only the true Roll Tide family. So if that's you, subscribe, like the video, and let's keep building this community the right way. Alright, here's the news. 4-star edge rusher, Jabarius Garer, has officially decommitted from Alabama. Yeah, he's back on the market. And just like that, Alabama's already small 2027 class takes another hit. Now let's be real for a second. This didn't come completely out of nowhere. Programs like Florida State have been pushing hard for him. We're talking multiple visits, strong relationships, and constant pressure trying to flip him. And now, they've got their shot. But here's why this one stings a little more. Let's talk about the production. Because Garer isn't just a ranking guy, he's a playmaker. Check this out, 106 total tackles in a single season, 32.5 tackles for loss, 21 sacks, and a forced fumble. Let that sink in. That's not normal. That's elite edge production at the high school level. And it wasn't just one year either. He put up back-to-back seasons with over 100 tackles and 20 sacks. That's consistency. That's dominance. He's ranked, 106 overall player in the country, number 12 edge rusher, top 5 player in the state of Alabama. So yeah, this is a legit loss. Now let's break down what this actually means, because I know some fans are going to panic. First thing, decommitments in modern college football, they happen all the time, especially this early in the process. We're talking about a 2027 recruit. That's years before he even steps on campus. A lot can change. Coaching relationships, depth charts, opportunities, NIL situations, everything. But here's the part we can't ignore. This is another hit to a class that's already been under the microscope. And if you've been following closely, you know Alabama's 2027 class has been small, a little unstable, still trying to build momentum. So yeah, losing a player like Garer doesn't help. Now let me give you my honest take as a fan. I'm not panicking, but I'm paying attention. Because here's the reality. Under Kalen DeBoer, and we've seen this before. Slow starts in recruiting. People questioning momentum. Fans getting nervous. And then what happens? Summer hits. And Alabama goes on a run. Top recruits start committing. Momentum builds. And suddenly, you're looking at a top 5 class again. That's the blueprint right now. But let me be clear about something. Alabama cannot afford to lose too many guys like this, especially in-state talent, especially players with this kind of production, because edge rushers like Garer, they don't grow on trees. That's the type of player who can change games, pressure quarterbacks, dominate the line of scrimmage, and in the SEC, that's everything. Now here's where it gets interesting. Garer isn't gone forever. He still has visits lined up, including Auburn, Texas, Texas A&M, and potentially Alabama again. So this recruitment, it's far from over. And if there's one thing Alabama has done over the years, it's winning battles late. Flips, recommitments, last-minute pushes. You've seen it. I've seen it. We all know how this goes, so don't be surprised if Alabama gets back in this race. Now let me ask you this, Bama Nation, how are you feeling about this? Is this just part of the recruiting game? Or is this a sign that Alabama needs to turn things around quick? Because I'll tell you this, the next few months, they're going to be huge for this class. All right, drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I want to hear from you. Hold up. Are we starting to see a problem in Alabama's future recruiting class? Or is this just part of the process? Because right now, the Crimson Tide just lost another commitment. And if you look at the numbers, things might look a little scary. But here's the real question, Bama Nation. Is this actually bad news? Or are people completely overreacting again? Before we break all of that down, smash that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. But only if you're a real Alabama Crimson Tide fan who rides with this program no matter what. Let's talk about it. So here's what just happened. Alabama lost another commitment in the 2027 class, this time from defensive back Nash Johnson, a 3-star corner out of Georgia, 6'1", 175 pounds, solid frame, good length, multiple SEC offers, not just some random player. And with his decommitment, Alabama's 2027 recruiting class is now down to just 3 commits. Yeah? 3. That includes QB Trent Seaborn, TE Colt Lumpris, TE Oakley Keegan. And just like that, the class drops to around number 22 nationally, and number 9 in the SEC. Now I know what some people are already saying. Alabama is falling off. DeBoer can't recruit. The dynasty is over. Relax. Seriously, relax. Because if you've been paying attention the last 2 years, this is literally the same pattern. Early in the cycle, low rankings, few commits, fans panicking. And then what happens? Boom! Alabama finishes with a top 5 recruiting class. Both years under Kalen DeBoer, Alabama closed strong. In fact, 2025 class, top 5, 2026 class, top 6 nationally. So let me ask you something. Why are people acting surprised right now? This isn't a collapse. This is strategy. Now let's talk specifically about Nash Johnson. This didn't come out of nowhere. The signs were there. No upcoming visits scheduled, heavy interest in Auburn, exploring other options for weeks. This wasn't Alabama losing control. This was Alabama moving on from a situation that was already drifting away. And that matters, because recruiting today isn't just about collecting commits early. It's about evaluating fit, managing NIL, keeping flexibility, and sometimes that means letting guys go. Here's what a lot of people outside the program don't understand. Alabama under DeBoer is playing a long game. They're not rushing to stack early commits just to look good in April. They're focusing on elite targets, late cycle flips, official visits, summer momentum. And historically, that's when Alabama dominates. You're about to see big official visits, top recruits on campus, major flips from other programs. So yeah, right now it's quiet, but give it time. And Bama fans, let me talk to you for a second. I get it. We're not used to this. We're used to being number 1 in recruiting, landing commits every week, dominating headlines. But this isn't the Saban era anymore. This is a new era, and the truth is, the system has changed. NIL, transfer portal, player movement, everything is different. So if you're expecting things to look exactly the same, you're going to be frustrated. But if you actually look deeper, you'll see something else happening. Because here's the reality. Alabama still has elite recruiting infrastructure, national brand power, strong recent classes, player development pipeline, and most importantly, a coaching staff that knows how to close. That's what matters. Not April rankings, not early commitments, not Twitter reactions. So here's my take. Is losing a commit ideal? No. Does it look great right now? Also, no. But does it actually change Alabama's future? Not even close. If anything, this is just the calm before the storm. Because when summer hits and those visits start rolling in, don't be surprised when Alabama jumps right back into the top 5, just like always. Now I want to hear from you, Bama Nation. Are you worried about this recruiting class right now? Or do you trust DeBoer to turn this around again? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're a real Alabama Crimson Tide fan, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's push to 1,000 subscribers together. Because we're just getting started. Roll Tide.